Ethan Led's goal relaxes everybody. And yes, it was at the far post, but we'd seen danger signs at the far post on both sides of the pitch earlier on, pre the goal.
Half-time that game, I remember us speaking, Steve Bruce is going to give them a rocket. They're going to come out second half. And a great goal for the second one. Great vision from Allsop in the goal to set the guys up front.
Well, I think it almost, and I don't want to belittle the skill that takes from Ryan Allsop. That's not just a boot up the field. That's an accurate long pass. And we've seen it so many times. Actually, more often than not at St Andrews at Knighthead Park. Second half, like it was on Wednesday, because the defenders switch off when they've had an attack and the ball's in Ryan Allsop's hands. And he is so technically gifted with that little sidewinder, or even a long throw, we've seen it, into the striker's chest. And it is almost Birmingham City's plan B, because they have the possession, they have their shapes and their patterns, but what they also have is a huge weapon of the technique that Ryan Allsop has with his delivery.
Yeah, we'll talk about him a little bit later on the show as well. Well, let's get some post-match reaction then from Ryan Allsop and the manager, Chris Davies.
The result also, of course, means that you'll walk away at the end of the season with the Golden Glove Award after 21 clean sheets. I mean, how proud a milestone is that for you?
Yeah, it's an incredibly proud moment. I have to give credit to the team in there. They've been incredible in front of me, from pressing from the front, the attackers, and people putting their bodies on the line week in, week out to give me the protection, and I've had to play my part when called upon. So it's something that I want to obviously thank my teammates for in terms of the efforts that they've put in. It's obviously an individual accolade, but it's obviously massive credit to the people that have been played in front of me.
Gaffer, a 2-0 win here in Blackpool, but the headline is that your side have become the highest point scorers in the history of the EFL. We run out of words to describe this group of players and what they've achieved this year, so can you have a go for us?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, the game itself, brilliant performance. First half was one of the best we played away from home, but to that record, it's, as I've said to the players in there, this isn't something that for a second you should take lightly or get on the bus and forget about it. It's something truly special. The most points, yes, anyone in the EFL, anyone in English football has ever got in a football season. 108 points. That's a lot of years of football, a lot of clubs starting a season off and finishing it with a certain amount of points, and no one's got more than 106. And to do it is incredible achievement. And I've been reiterating that to the players in there. I said when I came I wanted them to do something special this season. Yes, promotion, yes, we won the league, but to leave a legacy and make a mark in football like that, I mean, I've said before, if someone's going to go and beat that and go and get 109 points, then wow. I mean, that would surprise me, honestly. The consistency, the level, and we've played 60 matches this season, 59 now, but it's not like we've been fresh for every game. We've had difficult games, difficult conditions, cup runs on there as well. So 108 points in the league is a truly magnificent achievement from everyone.
Well, there we go. The thoughts of Ryan and the manager there as well. And I think he makes a great point. I know we do keep going on about this points record, but we shouldn't underestimate this. It's 20 years Reading have had the record for. So to get to the points ahead of today's game is a remarkable achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's prolonged the season and prolonged the excitement for the season, because the football club wants to be associated with it, and the ownership has made it clear that that is another goal this season. So yeah, absolutely, completely agree with Chris Davies. Like I've said, I've gone on record. if they do win again today, then I can't see it being beaten. But it's going to be a long time before what they've already achieved could be beaten. So yeah, it's everything along the way, they've had something to strive for, and they've got that again today.
And how much, we're going to be spoken about a little bit about this with the players, of what it means to them. But I guess when you then put that in comparison and reflect upon it, when you look at that magic number that everyone used to talk about in the Premier League of 40 points, and that means at least you're going to stay in the league. On a reflective piece in the summer, do you think, and as players' careers go on, they'll look back at this year and go, that was more than just special?
100%. I think sometimes I didn't reflect on my career too much while I was still playing. It's when you finish afterwards and, you know, people suggest things about a game or a promotion, and you think, well, actually, yeah, we did all right. When you're playing, you're so caught up in it, and then thinking about next season, like you mentioned earlier, that you don't really reflect on what you've done until you stop. So I'd like to think, and I would hope, that the players do spend 5 minutes looking at what they've achieved now, because that will wet their lips for what they could achieve in the future. And I think that that's something that is often overlooked while you're in the process of maintaining your career. So, yeah, hopefully lay on the beach with a cocktail and think, yeah, we've done all right.
Yeah, and the good news is we're not on the beach yet. It's always the old adage, isn't it? Final games of the season, teams are on the beach. Chance to really cap it off today. 3 points, takes you to 111. But also, more importantly, I think that to end on a win is just a great way to end the season as well. Your perspective, last games of the seasons, any kind of good memories of those? And I suppose also the follow-up to that is then the challenge of what's it like playing in one, especially if you've got a team like we've got today that are already relegated or there's nothing to play for. What's it like from a player perspective?
It's certainly, I was quite fortunate. I was involved in the playoffs an awful lot, and the last game of the season was always vital in every promotion campaign that I was involved in. Certainly some successful, some not so successful, and then obviously trying to win this League One division. End of the season we had to win it. So it's very, very different to the way that the Blues players have dealt with it this season. I mean, you look at the gap between first and second, and then first and the rest. Let's be honest. It's a wonderful achievement what they've done, but I genuinely think having this points goal has kept them honest and kept them going until the end of the season, because, you know, that'll come quick. They've already got their medals. Very, very rare do you still keep playing after you've got your medal, and they've done that for Wednesday's game and today's game. So yeah, I have played in games where it's, you know, there's nothing on it, and normally that's a really slow tempo. There's very few tackles because players don't want to get their flip-flop toes black and blue. So they're ready for the beach. They've got the holiday planned and they've got a place to go straight after the game. I don't think you're necessarily going to get that today, because they have that points tally to strive for. And, you know, Cambridge will be concerned. They'll be delighted that the Blues travelling fans will be in the stadium, and there'll be a great atmosphere, because without them, that wouldn't be there, because it's a quite solemn occasion for them having faced relegation. So, yeah, there'll be a better atmosphere than there would have with any other team, and it's another good test for the players.
Certainly is. Of course, the last time we played Cambridge in the league, it was a 4-0 win back in February. So let's remind ourselves of what happened.
Iwata looking to provide that with a delightful ball out to Ethan Laird near side. Fancies his chances against Barton. Gets round the outside of him. Big challenge comes in the penalty area. Penalty! James Brobby it was, in retreat. Can he put us in a commanding position 22 minutes into the first half? Yes, he can! Sal picks it up out of the melee. That's a great pick out for Keshi Anderson down this right-hand side. Good improvisation by Dowell. A decent cross by Keshi Anderson. And it's
those doors, by getting the early goals, makes it so much easier.
And now Blues are really enjoying it. And Stansfield's been found, and he can link up with Keshi Anderson, and he will leave it for Kieran Dowell. And that is a brilliant third goal. Peck finds Cochrane, and Cochrane will cross the header away only as far as Dowell. It's off the top of the crossbar. Blues inches away from a fourth, unscathed. But Morrison's given it away to Cochrane, and Cochrane can slip through Stansfield, and Stansfield turns, and Stansfield goes down, and that's a penalty. Blues get another penalty 10 minutes into the second half. Jay Stansfield, this time Tilton End goes eye to eye with Nathan Bishop for the second time this evening. This time it's saved by Nathan Bishop. Same sort of penalty as we saw in the first half. Okadina looking to take on Wright. Wright makes the intervention and dispossesses the fullback. Dykes into space for Wright to give chase, and Stansfield and Dykes to aim for. Looks to find Lyndon Dykes. Comes out to Harris, and Harris fires it into the bottom corner for 4. It's a welcomed goal for Luke Harris off the bench.
What a fantastic victory from earlier on in the season. Tommy already mentioned, obviously, Cambridge relegated, but they'll have that bit of professional pride. They're all going to make it easy for us today. Well, again, very much similar to the Blues players. They're playing for their futures. Some of them, a lot of them, will be out of contract, and they're going to need to find a club elsewhere. So certainly there's no better club in the division to play well against than Birmingham City. So yeah, there's a little carrot for their players, certainly. So today's one match which has a lot riding on it. There's another one coming tomorrow, Tommy, which we're all very excited about. As we've mentioned before, the men have got the League One title all sewn up. But there is one final game to go tomorrow for the women's team. 3 points, and they've done it. They're promoted to the WSL. Tommy, how incredible of a weekend would that be if we can get a result for the women's team as well? This is what it looks like. London City Lionesses are top, Birmingham City women in second. 2 points between them, and they go head-to-head at St Andrews at Knighthead Park. I think the momentum's with Birmingham City. I really do. I think you look at the London City Lionesses, that they could have won the league last week, but they slipped up and drew. Because Birmingham drew as well, that gave them the opportunity to set up this winner-takes-all game that's very, very rare, but it does happen, and it'll certainly be a great atmosphere, great occasion at St Andrews at Knighthead Park, like we had last Sunday when the men's team had a wonderful performance, a 4-0 win, and then the trophy and the medals, the atmosphere that we experienced. Although you and I were at the training facility and we missed out on it. You're not sure about this at all, Tommy, are you? No, but it sets up another wonderful Sunday afternoon at the stadium, and the women's team have deserved it. Let's be right about this. They are not fortunate to be second in the division with a chance to win it. It's because of a really strong season. They have. It's 2:15 kickoff. If you haven't got your tickets yet, there are still tickets available. The amount sold already is a record, so it's going to be a record attendance there on Sunday. There's going to be lots to do for all the family, so make sure you do come down and enjoy that one. I think as well, Tommy, from speaking to people around the club, Hope Powell and Amy Merricks are in a really good place, like mood-wise, not too stressed maybe isn't the right word, but not too over-focused, but not too relaxed. There's a nice balance of confident performances we've seen from the women over the last few weeks. So we've had a few of the women's players in on Blues Plus as well, and there just seems to be a really nice atmosphere around that team. There's not a nervousness there. No, I think they understand the opportunity, which is what it is. The chance to be promoted is a great opportunity, but it's also a chance to link the football club yet again. When Knighthead Group came in, they talked about the inclusivity of the football club, you know, and it's something that's certainly improving in the game. People talk about the women's game an awful lot more, and if we could talk about a double promotion, then that's incredibly successful and added to the best season ever that the men's team have achieved. I think that'd be pretty special as well, right? Having the men's team in the Championship, the women's team in the WSL, Birmingham City competing in the top leagues in Europe, it's where they should be. Well, that's what the aim is. And if you, like Tom says, if you can't say it, you can't do it. So why wouldn't that be what we're all aiming for? Certainly is. Best of luck from me and Tommy to the women's team this weekend. Make sure you get yourself down there. If you weren't able to get to the stadium last weekend to see the men lift the trophy, get down there, get behind the women, and hopefully recreate that atmosphere that we had last weekend as well. So there's 2 games left to go, but there's still plenty happening around the club over the next few weeks. So make sure you get yourself involved with that. Starting off with season tickets for next year, 25-26 men's season tickets. If you want to get part of that journey as well, make sure you head to the website and get yourself signed up and on the list to be in with a chance of supporting the Blues home next season. Blues Fest is also on the way. Birmingham City taking on West Bromwich Albion legends at Blues Fest. Sunday the 11th of May. If you want to get involved with that, some great names playing. Troy Deeney, Craig Gardner, Lee Camp, Lee Carsley, amongst others as well. So that's going to be a great day out, Sunday the 11th of May. Get down and enjoy that one. And of course, tomorrow night, it's the 2025 Players awards. Who is going to be walking away with those awards tomorrow evening? Stay tuned to all the club's social media channels to find out. Tommy, you're going to be there. You're going to be playing your part.
I will be there. Looking forward to it, yes.
Heard you got a very special job?
I will be in charge of a game of heads and tails. I have played it once or twice, but I'm still going to research a little bit more.
Can you go home and start practicing? Flipping the coin?
I should be. I mean, I was a captain for a long time, but
yeah, but the referee did that, not you, right?
Little bit more nervous in front of people on a stage. Yeah,
you'll be fine. About 1,500 people there, I think, is it? And the rest?
Yeah, that's fine. We had 80,000 at the Millennium Stadium. Surely I can toss a coin in front of 1,500. Should be fine.
We shall see. Right. Well, let's talk about players that have done well this season and have a little bit of reflection on the show. We've picked out 3 players that have made a big contribution this year, who may well feature this weekend at the awards. Who knows? But first of all, let's start at the back. Ryan Alsop, we talked about him a little bit earlier on in the show. Involved in that goal, second half Wednesday night, that distribution. How key is a goalkeeper like that in modern day football that has those attributes, that isn't just a great shot stopper? Saw in the first half of that game Wednesday, pulled off a great save off a deflection. How lucky are we to have a goalkeeper like him that can do all of that stuff? Incredibly
fortunate. It's excellent recruitment. I'm a fully paid up member of the Strikers Union. We rarely talk about goalkeepers, but this season I've mentioned him as much as anybody else. I just think his focus and his concentration, when he's essentially watched as much football as we have, you know, we see him here making a penalty save, but his focus when nothing to do in the game and then has to make an outstanding save. He really has been incredible all season. You know, these balls come into the box, well struck, he's got down, he gets back down for the second save. And look at the way that the players appreciate what he's done and how he's kept them in the game. That one, we've seen very similar at the weekend. These deflections, that is an incredible save. It's behind him. It's almost like the Gordon Banks save of many years ago. Because it's behind him, it's not easy to do that on his left-hand side for a right-footed player. So, yeah, he's been outstanding the vast majority of the season. When we've needed him, he's delivered.
And I guess as well, from a defensive point of view, when you've got our centre-backs and then moving into the midfield, knowing that you've got that behind you, that gives you the freedom to express yourself a bit more as well, because you know you're not having to look over your shoulder going, where's the goalkeeper, what's he doing?
Yeah, but his technical ability is almost like having another centre-half, because he's pushing up and he could play between the two. He's always an option for a pass, because you can't mark the goalkeeper. So he gives options that perhaps other teams haven't had, certainly in this division. So he's been excellent, and he's a blue nose. Yep. What more do you want in your number one?
100%. Let's move forward slightly. Christoph Clara at centre-back. What's impressed you with him this season?
What I find the most incredible about Christoph Clara is he's 24 years old. That is a young pro. Yes, he's not 18, but he's had experience of men's football. But at 24, the authority that he has, and also the technical ability that he's had. I remember one goal away at Northampton. His gift to Keshi Anderson was a wonderful cross. But we see him with last-ditch tackles, here sliding in to block a certain goal against Peterborough. You know, so many times he makes these challenges here. Yes, he goes to ground, but he goes to ground and wins the ball. And he has been a rock, as well as that leader, the captain, with technical ability.
I think we saw as well the other weekend, I think it was in the Burton game, made a last-ditch tackle, got up on his feet and he just roared. And that's amazing to have that for some of your team, that you've got that passion at the back.
It's very rare that defenders enjoy defending, because defenders now have far more possession of the ball. You know, in my era, it would have been perhaps control it and give it to somebody else. Now they're building from the back. And that base we talk about relationships, but the relationship between Alsop, Davies and Clara has been outstanding. That is a super strong triangle. And you could argue the wider players, the full-backs, if you like, their job is to attack. Those three look after things at the back, and they've done it ever so well.
They certainly have. Let's go to a position that you're familiar with up top. A man who could still win the Golden Boot if he can get himself on the score sheet there and get a few in the net. He's not been on the score sheet in recent games, but again, I guess this is testament to him as a player. But Jay Stansfield has contributed with the goals, but he's also set up a few in the last few weeks and throughout the season. Yeah, he has. I don't think his game changes. His energy and enthusiasm of a young player. What's impressed me is the way that he's adapted to coming in. All of the nation's media about spending so much money on a League One player, but he's come in, he's scored his goals, and his goals are very, very different. You know, we see a back post goal there. We've seen goals from outside the box, like this one at Barnsley. At that stage in the game, I was doing comms for it. It was desperately needed for something to happen. And then this is his tenacity, where the defender's trying to let it run out on the halfway line, and he picks up and drives into the box. And that's the only one for goal of the season that's maybe a couple of inches inside the 18-yard box. But really, that's what surprised me about Jay Stansfield. Didn't doubt his ability at all, but his enthusiasm. And I like the fact that sometimes he's a little bit nasty and a little bit moody. I like that. Yeah. When you sign up to the Strikers Union, you have to be nasty and moody as well as score goals. There we go. There we go. Well, best of luck to him today. Fingers crossed he can get himself some goals. It'd mean the world to him as an individual, and I guess it's another contribution to the team, isn't it? But to win a Golden Boot, especially if he could do it today.
It would. I mean, he would have been bitterly disappointed that he never started the game on Wednesday at Blackpool. We've seen how many shots he got off when he got on the pitch. I think today will be just exactly the same as that. And all of his mates will want him up there as well. You know, Alfie got another goal on Wednesday. His teammates will want him to score goals today.
They certainly will. Well, hopefully we'll have lots of goals. And as we mentioned, that end of season award is coming up tomorrow evening. Now, one of the prizes given out is going to be Goal of the Season. So to get us warmed up for this match, let's take a look at all the nominees for this year's Goal of the Season.
And he plays through. Alfie made. That's a great touch by Grimmer, but May is still in here. Offload to Miyoshi. Miyoshi left it, denied by the goalkeeper. Willemsen! 3-1. Game over. First 3 points of the season in the bag, and Willemsen smashes home the third.
It's about hanging on in there. While it's 2-1, there is always hope. It might be 3-1 here. What a goal! Talk about commentators' curse. While it's 2-1, there's always hope, and then literally a second later.
Picked back up by Paik Sung-ho. And this is Alfie May, chops in field on the left foot, looks at standing up towards the back post. There was Willemsen. Iwata on the volley! And what a start! And what a goal! It's another gem from Tomoki Iwata. And with not even 3 minutes on the clock, Blues make the dream start at St Andrews at night. So burst into his own net by Tomoki Iwata. Blues looking for an instant reaction. Jay Stansfield scampering up to the edge of the penalty area, and we have an instant reaction, and it's an absolute gem from Jay.
It's a fabulous strike. Great.
Says no. Leonard takes over proceedings, dribbles towards the byline. The header away by Huddersfield only makes it to the edge of the penalty area. This might set up for Keshi Anderson. Brings it under control. Oh! How about that? Some way to announce your return in style from Keshi Anderson.
Scored a wonderful goal at Huddersfield recently. And Laird's going to attack this. And the shot. Oh, the goal! Absolutely incredible from Tomoki Iwata.
when you break down those doors by getting the early goals, makes it so much easier.
And now Blues are really enjoying it, and Stansfield's been found, and he can link up with Chris Jansen, and he will leave it for Kieran Dowell, and that is a brilliant third goal. 3 goals for Blues, and 5 minutes before half-time, maybe already. So only reaches Laird in the Blues right back position. Laird's headed forward down the right-hand side, kept in play by Stansfield, and shows Coventry a clean set of heels, and Stansfield trotting towards a penalty area.
Well, there we go. All the nominations there for Goal of the Season. We'll find out who wins that coveted prize at tomorrow night's awards. Tommy, getting close to kick-off now. Let's just sum up the final Blues Plus of the season. What a season it has been. We were talking before the show, standout moments. There was one game for you that really stood out this year.
Yeah, for me, I think it was the whole experience of match day and the way it was put together, the show, the lights, the fireworks, and the performance on the pitch against Newcastle for me at St Andrews at Knightshead Park. I thought it was outstanding. Really was an opportunity for the players to show we're not just League One players. We can cope against a successful Premier League team. Yes, things didn't go our way at times, but I thought the whole experience of the evening was outstanding. And for me, I think that kicked the players on a little bit. They maybe stood a little bit taller and thought, yeah, we can actually cope with this, and they want more of it. And I think that point there is what really turned the season for me.
Mm-hmm. And just finally, how would you sum up this year? I know we were sat here watching that trophy get lifted, and I saw how much it meant to you as a former professional, but also as a Blue as well. Yeah, how would you sum it all up as we kind of come to the end of it all?
Essentially, you can sum it up in 2 words, really: job done. However, there's so much more to it. You know, the ownership coming in, doing exactly what they've said, which doesn't often happen. You know, I've played for clubs that have had new owners, and all of the promises have fell by the wayside. That's not happening here. Then the appointment of Chris Davies, the squad comes together, the success they've had on the pitch, the success the women have had on the pitch. As a football club, Birmingham City Football Club is firmly on the map and now in the record books. And it's been a wonderful season.
Certainly has. The sky's the limit. Tommy, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, your insight, and it's great to work with you as well. So thank you so much for everything you've done this year on Blues Plus as well. Right, well, that's it then from, if you're watching us on YouTube and on social media for Blues Plus this season. We're going to be back next season, even bigger and even better. And if you're a Blues Plus subscriber and one of our international viewers who's got access to the match as well, we've still got 90 minutes of football on the way for you as well. You can head to bcfc.com to get all those match day details. Well, let's do it then, shall we? 3 points available. Can we get to 111? Time to get to your commentary team, Matt Delaney and Dale Moon.
Has been well and truly awakened again. Centurions, record breakers, history makers, a season seen out with swagger, sensation, and now the 3rd-tier coronation ends here at the Cladara Abbey Stadium. An away end bubbling with anticipation for a future, but the mood is anything but celebratory for the locals, while Blues are going up in a flash of brilliance. Cambridge heading down in despair after a flicker of an end-of-season resistance. All that's left is resignation to the 4th tier for the U's. Neil Harris airdropped in, couldn't save them, and their 4-year stay in League One is over as the players take to the turf here at the Abbey Stadium. The final game of the season sees 6 changes made by Chris Davis. In comes young Jay Lee with his 2nd Blue start. Grant Hanley, Paik Sung-ho, Luke Harris, Taylor Gardner-Hickman and Jay Stansfield all come into the 11. So Golden Glove winner Ryan Alsop starts in goal. Laird, captain Clara, Hanley and Lee Myung-jae. Paik and Leonard in the midfield. Gardner-Hickman, Harris and Willemsen in behind. Jay Stansfield, who needs 2 goals to equal Charlie Kellman's record at the top of the Golden Boot chart. A hat-trick without a reply to beat the Leyton Orient man to that particular accolade. As for Cambridge, Nathan Bishop in goal, Bennett, former Blues captain Morrison, Watson, Gibbons, Digby and Stevenson, Brophy, who was just named their supporters player of the season before kick-off, Kachunga and Kai in behind, Lavery up top for the U's. Darren Carter is with me as we prepare for kick-off here at the Abbey Stadium in Carts. We've been lucky enough to sit here and witness history this season, witness this team pull off greatness week after week, and critics can say what they want, but no one can take away this season from Blue Noses.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt, and it's been a real privilege, hasn't it, to follow this team this year and see just how consistent they've been, but some of the performances, and I think it doesn't matter how many times you say it, 108 points to this point is unbelievable, and the fact that they could go and potentially go and get 3 more today just shows you how special this team has been this year and just how well they've played. So yeah, expecting a tough game today. The pitch does look quite lively, so I'm not sure it's going to suit Blues' brand of play, and